touchstone of meditation, which many of us have been doing for decades now. And the question is, what keeps you going? Don't you get bored? Just sitting there. It's a good question. How do you keep it alive? Where do you get your sense of motivation from? And you can come up with the various notions, realize they're unconditioned or whatever, but that's a good idea, but actually what's the feeling for what? What's your arising interest? And often it's to counteract the difficulties one is experiencing in a day. It's been turbulent, it's been challenging, things have gone wrong, didn't feel so good, or we feel unfulfilled in some way or another, had a problem with people we lived with, or just feeling a point of, what's the point of life anyway? And this sign, dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. And this is always, it comes down to it, this is always the spur and the recognition that it doesn't have to be this way. This is where you get a chance to clear those influences, and also to understand how did you get affected, how did you get distressed or overwhelmed or confused. Why is it so essential to meditate? In order to avoid this almost inevitable loss of balance, loss of ground, loss of purpose. To live a life with no purpose is pretty dismal, really. It's not really just about getting by, is it? A purpose is to overcome dukkha, to understand the causes of it, and to notice where the world definitely has these unsatisfactory, painful, miserable qualities occurring in it. How do they get in and strangle your heart or overflood you? You didn't have your ground. Put it very simply, colloquially speaking, you lose your ground. You lose that sense of grounded, present, strong, steady, fulfilled. This is just speaking everyday language. And so this finding your ground, knowing your ground. If you have your ground, then you know, okay, you're standing there, you're sitting there, you're truly grounded, then you get clarity about what you want to do. Otherwise we're just swinging around from this to that and the other. And so this aspect of meditation, to touch, to find your own ground that doesn't leave you when sickness comes or sorrow comes or busyness comes or tiredness, fatigue. These are ordinary, humble things that people experience. You don't have to be overwhelmed. Get overwhelmed, you start reacting, or you start trying to escape, escapism. How do you check that rather than add to it? Now you recognize a lot of this problems occur in, you might say, the mind, thinking a lot, all kinds of ideas we think and plan and remember, fantasize, worry about, and probably even more basically in the heart, feeling of distress or tedium or craving or aversion of some kind or another. And the most important thing is to deal with the heart. Is what you receive, what you're being affected by. Yeah. And then the heart is we're affected by everything, potentially. Your contact. That's what contact means, being affected. And so, the fundamental beginning of meditation is to turn your attention. So you're not just completely open to any old stuff that's happening. Even what your thinking mind is telling you. Yeah. And you turn it to find your own ground where that's going to be, you don't have much chance unless you can feel the steadiness of your body. Otherwise, mindfulness of body, very essentially, it's accessible. It's not subtle. It's not an idea. It's obvious. Body is an obvious experience. And it's accessible, it's available. It's always, you can always get that. And it's immediate counterbalance to the thinking mind and to the outgoing senses, of which the thinking mind is the primary instigator, thinking going out. Alternatives, possibilities, options, and which is, of course, where we're seduced. It's all going to be interesting, exciting, and important and urgent. Maybe it is, but most important, find your ground. Find an antidote to that thinking mind. Body is not thinking, does not think. But it's immediately connected to the heart. The sense of your body is immediately connected to your conditions of your heart. So just even taking the opportunity to really plant yourself on the ground, as if you're like a tree, putting the taproot down, settling, feeling the physicality, the base of the body, and feeling it. Not just thinking about it, but feeling it. Do you want to be here? You ask yourself, it's not that interesting, but do you want to be here? Do you want to be present and grounded? Or do you want to be still chasing ideas and thoughts? Which you can do any old time, always possible. But to have lived for your life, you want to have touched your own ground at some time to get some clarity. So you just say, okay, let's do this. A simple feeling of planting yourself, sensations, and the feeling tone. It's not disagreeable. It's kind of obvious, steady. And notice just to do that takes a kind of intention of the heart. It's not a casual gesture. It's not intensely stressful or strained or theoretical. It's not casual. It's determined. That's very significant. We're determining not to do a lot of this, that and the other. We're determining to be present. And use this body as a means to do that. And you bring up that sense of heart, determination, physicality, notice well. How do you express that in your body? As you do when you're determined. It's not casual, it's not strained, but it's full, it's complete. Complete breath out. Let the body decide when to breathe in, make it a complete in-breath. Feel it. What happens? Expanding the torso, the chest, up into the throat. Notice it's got a strengthening effect just to be with a complete inhale. As if nothing else mattered at this moment, because it's the most important thing to be doing in your life. Don't do that, everything else is going to break down, isn't it? So let's do that, let that inhalation come in complete. It happens to be the most important thing to be doing. And it happens naturally. It's simple. And let the out-breath complete. Because this is where you do letting go. And that's important too. To release the past, to clear. To let things pass, to step out of the past. That breathing out. Not something we do like an action, but it's a deliberate gathering of attention around that out-breath. And you feel the muscles move. You get to a point when it's as if the muscles have stopped doing their thing and you just keep releasing and relaxing a little bit more. No hurry. Until comes the body by itself begins to pull air in. That's your life. So you may be determined and present, but it doesn't mean rigid. It allows for the natural process of life, which is your breath, to flow in an unhurried way. How does that feel? One breath, just one long out breath, one long in breath. Yeah. And and staying with it. Notice something else. It's very simple, and yet mind blurs, the mind jumps off. Our attention wavers or is fuzzy. So use a little bit more inquiry, more interested. Get interested in the energies of the breathing, how the body feels. And check your posture again, so it's not just casual, but it's not strained, and feeling how you sit, your legs, your back, your chest. And recognizing, hey, you don't have to be on guard. You can open your chest a little. Not in a crowded situation, you can feel some space around you. Get in the environment that you're sitting in, spacious, steady, no hurry. And you find, the body picks that up, begins to feel a little bit more spacious, a little more present, because we're no longer psychologically feeling crowded, rushing to the next thing, dealing with this, that and the other. Create some open space around your body by acknowledging there is open space around your body. Nobody's bothering you. Not defending yourself against anything. Not comparing yourself with anything. So these are psychological but also bodily effects. Your attention is then lighter, it's not carrying these wavering anxieties or compulsiveness. Sense again. How do you know you're breathing? What is that? The most important thing in your life? And how does it benefit you, other than just keeping you alive? There's a lovely, if you stay with it, you notice with the breath inhales, there's a brightening vitality that goes along with that. And it extends beyond what we normally understand our breathing to be. It's not the nose and the lungs. So as you feel yourself breathing, you realize the whole body is participating in that, at least the torso is. Everything is expanding. And widen your attention to include your face as you breathe in. As if you're gently widening to as if you're covering your face with that quality. And sensitive tissues of the face and to feel more vibrant, alive. The eyes. Head, forehead even. And when the exhalation comes, just get this feel in your head, in your face, if you're releasing any stress or tension around the eyes, the forehead, corners of the mouth. It's like cleaning it, emptying out, extending down through the body, the base of the body, as if you're bathing, cleaning off dross of the day. And if you're feeling a bit sleepy or fuzzy, let's put a little more attention into that inhalation and keep your eyes open and sense as you come to the completion of the inhalation, just sense what's happening around your eyes and your face. On the other hand, you're feeling rather stressed or overexcited, overstimulated. Give a little more attention to the process of the exhalation. Not just the breath itself, but the sensitive aspects of the body. You're draining your face, your eyes, and even the palms of your hands. So we're quite careful when we meditate what we do with our hands. Keeping the palms nicely open, fingers unclenched, relaxed, so you can breathe out through your hands. You feel it's a very sensitive area of the body, palm of the hand. If there's anything tense or gripping there, breathing out, releasing it. And hands are what we use for comfort, comforting touch. Touch sense, breathing out to that. Easy hands. And you might even find the soles of your feet as well, base of the body. Letting all that drain into the ground. So providing a reference point, frame, to build up this strength of presence. And quite obviously, quite simply speaking, the more of your body you can get in that, the stronger it's going to be. Yeah. So you don't want to have something that's too refined, until the entire body breathes out, the entire body breathes in. That's a pretty strong backing. How does the entire body breathe? Well, it doesn't suck air in, but you can feel the vitality arise when you breathe in. Body's vitalized. You listen, particularly notice it in the sensitive parts of the body, the hands, the face. Breathing out, the entire body releases and relaxes. So there's a lot of support for that particular theme. Which is nourishing, strengthening. Not some esoteric notion. It's just using this system that you're born with properly. Tuning into it, its capacities, we forget. By using this very fundamental life breath as something you can collect yourself around, it's because it's always present, it's always subtly shifting, so you have to be on the ball. And this is where you really get to understand the difficulties, the ways we get distracted. Because your attention wavers, runs off to things that seem attractive, important, interesting. It's all, can't be bothered. Always strained, trying to make something happen. So these are the imbalances that become apparent when you meditate, and these are not just meditation imbalances, it happen all the time. So now you're able to see them. The irresolute qualities, just enough of this. Or jumping ahead. Next. Search for stimulation. Enough of this, get something more interesting, or sidetracked, digress to some notion, some piece of narrative we're going to get fascinated by, personal stories. One of the images that's used is someone turning wood on a lathe. Perhaps you don't do that. But you can imagine something like a spinning piece of wood, and you've got to keep putting your chisel on it, or whatever you're doing. You realise if you don't stay with that, you can easily just go again, rip the wood up, or the chisel will slip off and cut you. And stay with it. And it's something beautiful, just about staying with that flow. Breathing itself is very natural and normal, but the resolute, the staying with, is where you're strengthening something even more important, strengthening your citta, your heart, your awareness. Without this strength of awareness, you might as well, you're half dead. You're just a captive to any old worldly currents that come along. So you want to find your freedom. This is the one you have to strengthen. Be resolute. Doesn't mean get tense. It's like a craftsperson stays with their topic, stays with their work. Noticing the textures of breathing, noticing the qualities of vitality, and most of all noticing when the heart, the mind, the awareness starts to dull or rush or get lazy or get casual or distract. No, stop. No, stop. No, back to this. Relax, breathe out. You're getting too tight. Oops, no, you're getting too loose. Breathing in. So just using this to hone and sharpen and steady awareness. And without this, you're very vulnerable and highly you're in danger. Certainly, the suttas, the Buddha used the language of that time. This is where Mara, the force of delusion, gets in. The mind person's awareness is sloppy, dithering. Yeah. Distracted. Not properly nourished by staying with something that's got this vitality to it. Thoughts aren't going to do it. Thoughts are stimulating, but don't give you this fundamental nourishment that embodied energy does. This is where you gain your life. The results speak for themselves. Tune into this, you're also, it's not just a matter of willpower, because you're training your mind to learn to linger. A hasty mind, the mind that's easily rushes, needs to learn to linger and drink in. Then you're getting fed. What do you drink in? Instead of drinking in memories, stories, problems, criticisms, drinking, breathing in the vitality, breathing out the release, drinking that in, taking in the qualities of steady composure. These are not just ideas, they are energies that will nourish and enrich you. To take the opportunity, it's always available. This precious food, nothing else can give you. Linger in it. using some wisdom. And so once you've the benefit of establishing ground, as your heart clarifies, your heart becomes more composed, steadied, and your thinking clarifies. You get to see this is just what's important. And to think straight what's important, and what's really important. And notice how the important thing is to know what's important. Important not to get distracted. The important thing is to know where you're susceptible. To know where the weaknesses are, or the errors, or the impatience, or the whatever. Just like a prudent caretaker notice where the doors are falling off, or the roof's leaking. They're not critical, they look around. This is where the place is falling down. You look like this. This is where the harmful influences get in. Some that didn't seem harmful. Just like a doctor. This is where the disease gets in. This is where the tissues are weak. This is where the system is, it's undernourished. Just like so you notice that. Not to be critical, but to be realistic. This is what I need to strengthen. And you can. The system will heal itself. But you stop. But you make the resolutions. Know where your weak spots are. Where you're to be on guard against harmful influences. Know where your resolutions need to be made. Know where you need to find nourishment and support, and how you can do that. Take some time. Check it out. So your meditation is a constant a visit to a kindly healer. And it's going to get you on track and keep you there and check where the harmful influences take over. Know what they feel like. Seductive, pressing, urgent, poignant, but you're losing energy to no end, to no good end. So be a kind friend to yourself, be a practical, realistic, not sentimental. Make those resolutions. And the most important thing is to resolve to practice regularly. Keep checking in every day, checking in, touching ground. And you're going to build up some strength. You won't regret it.